Hello, Cancers, and welcome to this, your February 15th through February 29th reading and predictions. Yes, for those of you who have not looked at a calendar recently, you heard me correctly. February 29th this year is, in fact, a leap year. Just out of curiosity, have any of you actually noticed that a lot of countries hold really important things like elections in leap years? Huh, you might want to just dig into that rabbit hole just a little bit there, Cancer. So, for those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video and joining. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I am this far away from reaching the first level of monetization for this channel. So, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button so that I can, you know, get this channel monetized, which will help me to grow even more and get these messages out to more people. It would be much appreciated. Okay, Cancer, stick around all the way until the end. I do have a feature for those of you who are new here. I do have a feature at the very end that if you have a question that requires a yes, no answer, and you are willing to trust the cards during a general reading, I will be pulling yes, no cards at the very end of this reading. All right. Cancers, I'm just going to pull up my notes from your last reading, which covered the time frame from February the 1st through February the 15th. And the cards for the first half of February asked you to explore where you were making your decisions from. Are you making your decisions from a place of the heart or from a place of the mind? And what the cards indicated is that decisions that are coming up for you at this time, Cancer, you are intended to be making your decisions from one place or the other. And in particular, if you're making decisions about your career, your reading for the beginning of February indicated that you should be making decisions from the place of intellect, from the mind, rather than making decisions about your career from the heart. Seems fair enough. And in fact, I just want to touch on this. A lot of the other zodiac signs are being asked to sink deeper into their heart centers to be making decisions at this time. But for whatever reason, Cancer, at the beginning of February, you were asked to make decisions, at least regarding your career, from the mind. Let's take a look and see what comes up for you for the latter half of February. So, the first cards I'm going to pull for you are cards that explore where you are at now and what's going on for you now here as I sit and record this for you in the middle of February. You do have a card. I think that's going to come out. Let's see whether it actually falls before I get to the end of the deck. And now, yep, there it goes. And is there anything else coming up for Cancer? Where they're at now? No. Okay. Also, I apologize. I've got everything on this side. Normally, it would be on my right-hand side, but I'm a little cramped in a corner here. I'm traveling. All right. So, ooh, Cancer. Okay. So, we have two cards here for you coming up for where you're at now. The first card is the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is a card indicating that someone is not being as honest as they could be. There may be some deceit in what's going on around you, which brings me, or you may be waking up to some deceit that's been going on for a significant length of time. So let me dig into your second card here for where you're at now, which is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is probably one of my favorite cards in the deck. And I'm not sure whether you guys have had it or not before. So I'll dive into the meaning of the Hierophant because it is probably one of the deepest cards in the deck. And it is the card that requires our deepest dive into ourselves, in my humble opinion, in order to be able to grow and move forward. Now, the Hierophant So, first of all, the number 5 in the tarot is almost always corresponding to us needing to improve ourselves somehow. It's kind of about coming to a crossroads and needing to learn something. And so there are 4 5s in the minor arcana, and then there is 1 5, of course, in the major arcana, and that would be the Hierophant. The Hierophant is about the institutions that have formed us and shaped us and made us who we are today. And the Hierophant asks us to look at those institutions and determine if in adulthood, those same concepts that we learned as children from these institutions, if they still serve our highest good today. So let me give you an example. The very first institution that we meet when we are born is, of course, our family. And then from family, we move into society, greater family, greater community. From there, we generally move into the institution of religion for many people. And from religion, we move into the institution of education. From education, we move into higher education. And then we move into the institution referred to as work or career. And oftentimes, the work or career place that we work is an institution in and of itself with certain belief systems. So, what the Hierophant is asking you to do at this time, Cancer, is to look at and explore your belief systems. So, for example, I don't know, I'm going to pick two examples for you just so that you can understand. Let's do one that's really, really simple and superficial, and then we're going to do one that's really big. The superficial example is in certain families, when they are cooking and they pull a fresh cucumber out of the fridge or out of the garden, they cut the end off the cucumber that came from the vine end, the growing end. You cut the end off and then you rub it around in circles on the longer piece. And it was believed at some point in time that this process helped to draw some of the bitter waters out of the cucumber so that the remainder of the cucumber that you would eat would be sweeter. Now, I've met people that do it. I do it sometimes still because it was done in my family. Does it serve a highest purpose? Does a cucumber taste different if you perform this little act, or doesn't it? Is there any scientific proof as to why we continue to do this? Who knows? That's kind of a pretty minor thing that the Hierophant asks us to look at, but it is something that many families, many grandmothers passed on to their daughters, who passed on to their granddaughters, that when you cut open a cucumber, you do this. Okay. Another big one, this one's really big, that the Hierophant asks us to explore, and that is monogamy. Does monogamy still sit well for you in adulthood? Many of us were raised with religions that tout that the only way to live our lives is grow up, get married, stay married to the same person for the remainder of your life until death do you part. Never look at anybody else. Many religions, and even people who are not religious, have this belief system of monogamy. Does it work for us? Does it work for you, Cancer? These are the big concepts that the Hierophant asks you to look at. Is another one would be, for example, witchcraft versus Catholicism, witchcraft versus Judaism. Is witchcraft an acceptable religion or not? And I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm not telling you, Cancer, that monogamy is good or bad. I'm bringing it up to you because these are the big concepts that the Heirophant brings into your life at this time. Which brings me to, the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is about deception and deceit. It's about something or someone or some institution or some concept that we've believed in for a long time. We believe in people, we believe in concepts, we believe in institutions, educational institutions, religious institutions, and so on. And is what they told us still ringing true for us in our hearts and our souls? This is the hard work that you're being called upon to do right now, Cancer. And I can tell you from experience, when you do this hard work, when you sit back and really, really dig into the work of the Heirophant, you will notice some very large shifts in your life. All right, Cancer, let's move into what else you are exploring and focusing on as we move through the latter half of February. We have one card that jumped out right away quick. Another one has just jumped out, but it's landed on the floor. That wasn't very nice of it. So, as I mentioned as well, the Heirophant is the number 5, and this is about coming to a crossroads. And Heirophant work oftentimes results in us creating a crossroads for ourselves. Okay. So, in what you are focusing on for moving through the latter half of February, you have the Two of Autumn. This is a 2. Anytime we see a 2 in the tarot, in the minor arcana, it's about a decision. The Two of Autumn corresponds to the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles is ruled by earth, earthbound things like money and career. This is about a decision that is coming up for you with regards to work or career. Go back to your Heirophant here as the first card, second card out. Perhaps as you are awakening, you are noticing that something in your work or career institution is no longer resonating. And you're looking at making a decision or a choice, making some changes in career or work. Moving along, Cancer, you have the Prince of Summer, also known as the Knight of Cups, in your focus. The Knight of Cups is about, for example, the White Knight riding up on his big white horse, and he's coming in to save the princess. There are 2 ways to read this card for you, Cancer, in what you're focusing on. One is, are you looking to manifest something into your life, a partnership into your life, quick, quick, quick? Maybe. The other way to look at this is, are you looking to be swept off your feet? The saying that comes in is easy come, easy go. So just watch for that. And it may be that there is an opportunity for a new or a different partnership or a shift in a partnership that you currently have with regards to your work or your career. And the Prince of Summer, Prince of Cups, can sometimes indicate something that might be too good to be true. Sometimes it's something that just sweeps in and it's life altering and you go forward and it's beautiful and amazing and perfect for the rest of your life. But other times it's something that sweeps in, because if you're already in this place of doing the Heirophant work and doing the Seven of Swords work, where you're waking up to somebody wasn't doing the right thing, somebody was maybe being deceitful with this Seven of Swords, then you may be feeling a little bit vulnerable at this time and you're looking for a savior. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking for a savior, that may not be what you need. Um, I do a lot of accountability work with my counseling work. So I'm just putting that out there. But either way, there is a decision that you're going to need to make about career coming up here. We're going to go over here for your difficult influences and challenges. Difficult influences and challenges for Cancer for the latter half of February, please. Oh, wow. That was a whole group of cards that came out. Let's pick them up and see how many actually came out. They went flying onto the floor. Okay, so we do have 4 cards that have come out for you. Okay. The first card that's come out is the Devil in your difficult influences. Imagine that, the Devil coming up in difficult influences. The Devil is all about our ego, and it's about maybe a bruised ego, and it's about, if the 7 of Swords is coming in next to the Hierophant, we're feeling like we've been deceived, like there's been some kind of deception. And when we come from a place of ego after we've felt like there's some kind of deception, oftentimes there is this desire to look to um, look for retaliation. That is probably not in your best interest at this time, Cancer. And that's why the Devil is coming up, is to reinforce that the Hierophant work alongside the 7 of Swords work is hard work, and you have to keep your ego out of this kind of work. So that's why it's come up in difficult influences, because it is a challenge to do that. You have the 6 of Wands coming in along with the 9 of Pentacles. Both cards are predominantly positive cards in your difficult influences. Interesting, right? So the 6 of Wands is about a victory or triumphing over something. But coming in your difficult influences alongside this Devil card, this again is that reinforcement that if you're coming from a place of ego and then you throw the 6 of Wands on top, you may be rubbing salt in someone else's wound. And that's probably not going to bring you very good karma. So just watch for that. Is that as much as someone, or you may feel like even a whole institution has deceived you in some way, coming from that place of ego and then trying to celebrate that is not going to turn out positively for you. The 6 of Wands in your difficult influences may also be indicating that you're not allowing yourself to enjoy the finer things in life right now. You have the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles, again, is an overall positive card. It's about ripeness, it's about timing. This card coming up in your difficult influences is indicating that when it comes to money and so on, right now is probably not the best time for you to. Okay, Cancers, there's going to be a stitch in the middle of your video because my microphone shut down at the very end of that first part. So I am going to pick up where I left off with regards to your reading, but there is a stitch in the middle of it. I do apologize. It's because I'm working with a new microphone and I'm still not used to how much battery time I get with my microphones at this time, and it went dead. I apologize. Okay. Where was I? Difficult influences. And this 6 of Wands, maybe not enjoying things in life, maybe not allowing yourself joy in your life right now. And then you also have the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is a card of timing. It is a card of making sure that when you are going to make a choice or a decision, we're going to go back over here to this Two of Autumn that you had. When it comes to making choices and decisions, watch the timing, particularly when it comes to finances. And finally, in your difficult influences, the moon came out. Now, the moon asks us to pay attention to our dreams because there's a lot of information coming up for us at this time. But the moon is also about cycles and phases. It asks us to look at, the moon has a dark side and a light side. Full moon, new moon. And when we're doing Hierophant work, when we're looking at the Seven of Swords, when we have decisions to make, we can look to the phase of the moon to help us and assist us with regards to, okay, if I want to manifest a lot more money, the best time to do that is actually on the new moon and set our intentions on the new moon. Because from the date of the new moon until the full moon, it is gradually getting bigger. Thus, any intentions we put out on the new moon also gradually get bigger. If you are setting intentions to create a whole bunch of abundance and you're putting it out there on the full moon when it's already big, guess what happens the very next day? It gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm bringing that up so that you can begin to watch the timing of the moon, begin to watch some of the things that are happening celestially. And this does not mean, Cancer, that you have to become an expert in astrology by any means. Not at all. You will notice shifts in your life just by paying attention to when the full moon is and when the new moon is. Trust me on that. All right, we are going to move over to messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time. As you are doing Hierophant work, as you are realizing that there's been some kind of deceit, as you are doing this ego work, making sure you're not coming from ego and you are facing down a decision about career, what messages does the universe have for you? What messages does the universe want you to hear at this time? All right, we have two messages that have jumped out. Oh, I cannot make this up. You saw these cards jump out. This card here, Mr. Devil in your difficult influences, saying, don't come from a place of ego. Let go of your ego, Cancer. Messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. This is double reinforcement that if you are coming from a place of ego at this time, it is likely to bite you in the behind. And never judge another. This is kind of along the same lines, right? So even while you're going through and doing this Hierophant work, don't be sitting there and thinking, oh, I'm better than them because I've done my Hierophant work. Again, where are you coming from if you are judging someone else for not having done their Hierophant work? Well, you're probably coming from that nasty ego. What can I say? All right, let's move into what is coming up that is unexpected. Getting called over here to my little itty bitty everyday witch. Unexpected for Cancer. Unexpected. A couple of cards have jumped out. One more. Oh, you have the Ten of Pentacles. All right, so you have the Nine of Pentacles that came up in your difficult influences, and now you have the Ten of Pentacles coming up in your unexpected. That's actually really beautiful because it's an indication that the timing is going to come up where it's going to be right for you to jump on something with regards to money and finances and career and happy family life. If you'll notice on this card, if it's coming into focus here, this is all about playing happy families. And you got your house up here and lots of pentacles or coins floating around, and everything is kind of Really beautiful. And then in here, you have the Emperor, the Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. Okay. So over here, you had the Prince of Cups or Knight of Cups coming in, indicating that there may be some kind of new partnership coming in for you, something that's going to come in, potentially sweep you off your feet. And then you have the King of Cups right next to the Queen of Pentacles, and then right next to the Emperor, and also with the Ten of Pentacles. All of these cards together, without me going into the details of each specific card, which I really don't think is necessary at this time, is indicating that there there are good things that are going to come out of this month. Once you've done this Hierophant work and you've looked at these big institutions and these big concepts and gone, you know what? I've been living my life believing that there was one path and one path only, and I feel like I've been lied to because there's many other paths that I can take, there's many other belief systems that I can have. And now I'm waking up to this. I'm making new decisions. Somebody new is coming into my life. They're going to sweep me off my feet and help me to see this. I have to make sure that as I'm making this change and shift, I'm not seeing things from a place of ego and I'm not approaching things from a place of ego. But ultimately, these four cards in your unexpected are indicating happy family life as well as happy work life at this time coming up for you, Cancer. These cards coming out in the order in which they came out is kind of like everything is falling into place for you. We're going to pull your final general overall outcome card, and then we are going to get into your yes, no questions. Final general overall outcome for Cancer. All right, we have two cards out. Yeah, you definitely have a decision to make because we just had another two come out. So initially we had the two of autumn, which corresponds to the two of pentacles that came out. And that was about making a decision about money or career. You now have the two of wands that's come out, and you have the nine of cups coming out. Yeah. Remember what I said? Nines are about timing. And what was this? This was the nine of pentacles, wasn't it, that you had over here? Yeah, nine of pentacles. So you do have two nines that have come up for you. So you might want to pay attention to, interesting, both the 19th as well as the 29th of February. Nine is going to be important to you. And as I mentioned already, nines are about timing. You have the two of wands here in your general overall outcome. Now, the wands are ruled by the element of fire. Element of fire, always remember if somebody lights a fire under your behind, you are likely to want to move and take action. So the two of wands is about moving and taking action. It is about making a decision over here with this two of pentacles, sticking with that decision with this two of wands, but taking action on it, Cancer. And then, as I mentioned, you've got the nine of cups here. Now, the nine of cups is one of the really, really happy cards in the deck. All of the cups are filled to overflowing and brimming. Everything is falling into place for you. Okay. So a little bit of hard work to do, the Hierophant work. You have to watch for that ego to bubble up at some point during the latter half of February. But overall, all the cards are indicating that things are falling into place for you in a beautiful way, both for career as well as family at this time, Cancer. Okay. If you have a yes no question that you would like an answer to, please bring it to mind at this time. You may wish to close your eyes. Ask your question several times, either quietly in your mind or out loud as I shuffle these cards. And we will come out with a yes or a no for Cancer. All right. We have an answer for you. Cancer, in regards to your question, yes or no, here is your answer. Choose a new direction. Choose a new direction. All right. I do apologize for the stitch in the middle of the video and the little hiccup there. If this video resonated for you, please consider hitting that like button and please subscribe. I am, like I said at the beginning, this close to reaching the first level of monetization. So the more subscribers that I can get at this time, the better. If you are interested in booking a private consultation with me, I do have my contact details down below, and I would love it if you would give me the honor of doing your next reading for you at the beginning of March.